Deep in the lands of Zaron, the humans of Koopa Keep struggle to stay alive as they are attacked by the wicked drow elves of Larnia. Darkness falls as the humans beg their king to save them, a noble king known only as the Grand Wizard. For 1,000 years, the battle has been waged, with only the bravery of the Grand Wizard to protect his human followers. But even though the Wizard King is so undeniably cool, the Drow Elf armies continue their attacks. They seek the humans' most treasured relic, the Stick of Truth. But the tides of war soon change, as news of a new kid spreads throughout the land. In order to save the humans, the Grand Wizard must get to the new kid, before the Drow Elves can manipulate his mind, and use him to take the sacred relic from human hands. For whomever controls the stick, controls the universe.
Hello again, I am Blunty. So, South Park Stick of Truth. This is my review. Kinda, but it's also kind of a rant view, if you will. Does that portmanteau even work? Who gives a shit? This is my personal story, my journey, if you will, of how Stick of Truth came into my life and tore my fucking underpants right off and did very, very pleasant things to my metaphorical pleasure bits. In any case, this will be a bit different to a normal review, even one of my own normal reviews, but bear with it. At least this will be different to all the other similar sounding reviews for this game out there already. And while there may be some vision in this video that some might consider minor spoilers, I won't be telling you anything about the story progress, so consider this moderately spoiler safe. So, I've been looking forward to South Park Stick of Truth since it was first announced, way back in 2011, if you can believe it, set to be released by THQ. But as time went on, and it tripped over its own ass several times in development, and had lengthy delay after delay announced, my excitement started to fade. And then THQ imploded, and Ubisoft bought out the publishing rights, and if I'm honest with you, I have a bit of a personal grudge against Ubisoft. They've got a lot of dick moves under their belts. The most recent, and the one that got me pissed off most, was when they fucked over eager Wii U owners and passionate Rayman fans by delaying Rayman Legends, a fully complete, ready-to-ship game on the Wii U because they decided at the last goddamn minute to churn out ports for the other systems too.
We must get back to the question at hand, my lord.
Dick move.
He will no longer be called Douchebag. New kid, I hereby dub thee Sir Douchebag. Congratulations.
And then Ubisoft announced yet another goddamn delay for Stick of Truth, which especially stuck in my craw, as I'd spoken with the Ubisoft people after they announced their December release date, and I teased them about the history of delays combined with the history of Stick of Truth's own delays that had already suffered, and I said, can you promise me that no more delays, it will absolutely come out in December 2013, promise me, look me in the eye and tell me it's going to happen and you're not going to delay it again. And they did. They looked me in the eye and they flat out promised me that there would be no more delays. The game is nearly ready, they said. It's gonna ship in December. And bam, a week after that assurance, Ubisoft announced another delay. They'd flat out lied to me, right to my face, with a smile on theirs. Fuck those assholes. And then came the news, just days before release, that the Australian and European versions would be censored and have certain cutscenes and minigames removed. Talk about missing the whole fucking point of South Park's subversive use of taboo subjects. And to top it all off, it had been delayed so much, but by the time it came out, it wasn't even on current gen consoles. I'd have to dig out my retired, old, superseded, replaced, previous generation game console from the back of my damn closet to even play this new game. So with all this crap piled up into a shit mountain of betrayal and annoyance, I had decided, just like I did with Rayman, to simply not buy Stick of Truth at all. I would not reward Ubisoft's slimy behaviour and lies with my hard-earned cash. And as a pathetically ineffective personal protest based on some kind of moral stance, it was a bit bullshit anyway, but there it was. I was going to stand by it. But then, on launch day, when all the last-minute embargoes dropped and the reviews from the big gaming sites started coming out, every one of them was glowing and gushing with praise for this game. Some called it a triumph, Some called it the best game of a licensed property ever, man! So, bitterly, I sat, and I thought to myself, well, fuck! It seems like the game is a must-play. Everyone is going to be going on and on about this game, and I'm sitting here like an arsehole, denying myself some fun, bitterly clinging to a pissy little scrap of stubborn faux morality. Obviously, as you've been watching some of my own gameplay here, as I've been ranting, I changed my mind, didn't I? I decided in the end that withholding 69 of my dollars wasn't going to make a single drippy fuck of difference to Ubisoft, or the way they run their shit. The game was already going to be a success, it was getting glowing reviews all over the place, they would feel justified in all they did anyway. Plus, you know, I'd already communicated my various annoyances directly to Ubisoft, and even to a slice of my audience via Twitter and all that, so I guess I'd had my say. I'd stomped my feet and I'd scowled at the various local Aussie Ubisoft employees, who, just for the record, are really nice people in their own right. They really are nice people. They just happen to work for a dick move type of company. Not their fault, really. So yeah, I bought it, hard copy, in a games specialist retail store, briefly tempted by a collector's edition with a Cartman statue and other bonuses that someone had cancelled their pre-order on. But I ended up with the standard edition, a small concession, I thought, to the moral stance that I was now betraying. I thought to myself, if I must give Ubisoft some of my money, I'll give them the least amount possible, and I won't buy that collector's edition. But you know what? I kinda regret not buying the collector's edition after all, because within the first hour of gameplay, I was hooked. All of those delays really did help the developers tighten up this game. It's fucking fantastic. I think it's safe to assume that most people watching this will already know, or at least have just now gleaned from the gameplay footage you've been seeing, what this game, you know, is.
Over here! Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. It's me, Al Gore! You know, Al Gore, I'm super important!
It's a reasonably lightweight turn-based RPG with a core storyline told over 3 well-defined but interconnected arcs. The core story arc, by the way, is absolutely classic South Park. Witty, clever, vulgar, subversive, occasionally hilarious, and constantly amusing. They said they were trying to make a game that felt like you were actually playing a real episode of the show, and they succeeded. Beyond my expectations, they succeeded. This really is the best game based on a TV or movie property I've ever played. It's damn near perfect, actually.
And I shall pay handsomely for his services. Sir Douchebag? Butters, Douchebag, go down and flush him out. Princess Kenny and I will be waiting here to murder him. Remember,
it hits every single note just right. It never feels slow or grindy. It never feels like a chore. There's no tedious grinding to be done just so you can level up and then progress through the story or the world or something. Everything just flows perfectly naturally from mission to mission. Even the tutorial missions fold into everything else flawlessly, and that's really a nice feat. Mechanically, the game is rock solid. The combat system itself is pretty standard fare for a turn-based RPG, but of course all the attacks, buffs, debuffs, consumables, magic and special abilities all fit right in with what South Park is and should be about. The control system is logical, simple, and very sound. The same goes for the item management system, character customization, costumes and weapons and armor systems, the quest log, the map, the fast travel and skill trees. All of it is familiar to anyone who's played an RPG or two, but all of it still fits right in with the South Park lore. It's a truly fantastic and superbly thought out and well-built system. South Park Stick of Truth is not a long game, not by RPG standards at least. My personal first playthrough was about spot on 12 hours, and in that time I did a fair amount of exploring, several, but not nearly all, of the side quests, so I'd consider 12 hours a pretty average gameplay time. It is not an especially difficult game. Some of the battles are reasonably challenging, and some of the puzzle rooms did take me a while to figure out.
Good job, Princess Gone Wild. Double D buddy powers.
But I never got stuck. I never got so frustrated I felt like quitting out and coming back later. I never got so angry at the game that I threw my controller across the room for some, obscure, ridiculous puzzle room or something. In fact, the whole game is so compelling and so seamless in its flow that I played right through to endgame in one single sitting, stopping only to quench my thirst occasionally and briefly eat a pizza so I didn't faint from hunger. But I spent the entire 12 hours sitting on my ass playing this game and loving it. If you churn right through the core story, you could maybe get it done in as little as 8 hours, I'd guess, but you'd be missing out on a lot of fun stuff on the way. I'm really not sure if it holds a great deal of replay value, as the core story is relatively linear, but there are 4 classes of warrior to choose from, so there is that to explore, I suppose. I'm not sure how much difference it would really make.
You entered douchebag, is that correct? Are you sure you want to keep the name douchebag? Very well, douchebag. You will now choose a class: fighter, mage, thief, or Jew. A mage is like a wizard, only not as cool. You look sneaky enough to be a thief. Jew, huh? So I guess we'll never really be friends. You look sneaky enough. A mage is like a fighter has courage, honor, and the ability to kick fucking ass.
But there is, as any good RPG must have, a good whack of side quests and collecting missions and all that kind of stuff. And the world is simply filled with hidden stuff, both items and characters and gags and rooms to unlock and all that kind of stuff. So there's plenty of exploring worth doing, even after you've hit the end game in the main quest. So all in all, South Park Stick of Truth is a near perfect game. The only annoyance I ran into, mechanically speaking, was the load times. In today's world of the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, it seems I've quickly grown accustomed to seamless loading. And in Stick of Truth, you're stalled out by the game loading the next room or next section of the map surprisingly often. While the game looks and sounds fantastic, this little detail really does portray its true age a bit. Sure, it's a new game, as in it just came out, but it took so long to get here, it can't help but still feel a bit last gen, you know what I mean? But still, whatever it went through in its seemingly endless and infuriatingly delay-filled development, it really does seem to have allowed the devs to tighten up every last nut and bolt. In all ways, other than the frequent stage loading, it is one of the tightest, most refined, most highly polished gaming experiences you can possibly have. I am so very glad I decided to swallow my silly pride and worthless little one-man protest to buy and play this game. It is undiluted fun, pure and simple. If you like fun, and if you like South Park, even if you haven't watched it in years, you know, you used to love it but then you got bored with it, just come play this game because it is brilliant. So thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time. Okay, it's time for some post-game chat. For those of you who want to avoid late-game spoilers, stop this video now and leave your comments or whatever, because this next bit you probably don't want to see. It will have spoilers. You've been warned. So there's this bit I really love, and it's one of the laugh-out-loud moments I had in my playthrough. There's a section where you have, quite close to the end of the game, you have to head north to Canada to progress through a quest in the main mission. And when you get there, everything goes all faux old-school 8-bit-ish. Which is a laugh in and of itself, and the stuff here, although very, very silly, is still some of my favourite stuff in the game. I've always really loved the Canadian-based jokes in South Park, and here, in the game, they're all so pitch perfect, and I was nearly constantly giggling like a child throughout this entire Canadian quest section. If they just took this section of the game and turned it into a 3DS game or an iPhone game or something like that, and it was, you know, maybe 2 hours long worth of content, I would buy it and play it and play it and play it.
Best day here in town. Those direwolves can rip your anus apart in mere seconds.
it's just fun, you know? It's lighthearted, fun, joyful.
But I warn you, the wilderness of Canada is filled with direwolves. You know what direwolves are, right? They're like wolves, but they're dire. Hold it right there! Here are your photos with the prince and princess. Would you like 2 8x10s or 6 5x7s?
Now, as for the censored stuff, and it's here at the end of the video because there's some story spoilers in this stuff. This is what Aussies see instead of the scenes and minigames that would be there. It's just basically a still frame with a crying koala and some didgeridoo music, and really, while it's fucking ridiculous that this shit is censored, it really doesn't hurt the gameplay or the story really much at all. I mean, of course, I'm super pissed that we Aussie gamers, even after spending half a decade fighting tooth and nail to get an adult rating for games approved by the government, still we have to be treated like stupid fucking children. Even after we won the right to have an adult rating for games, this stuff is still fucking censored. What was the entire fucking point? But wait, it gets dumber. Because, and this is a big spoiler by the way, while they censor the minigame we perform a fake abortion on Randy, a man, they don't censor the part at the end of the game where you play the exact same abortion minigame, but on a robot woman thing.
Every critter holds it dear.
Cold, so cold. Danger, abortion access slit stress, abortion access slit dilated. Initiate control chip removal.
It's Christmas time.
It's idiotic, it's arbitrary, it makes no fucking sense, it is stupid and shouldn't have been censored in the first place. I'm furious about it. Not to mention they censor every incidence of alien anal probing because, you know, bum rape is naughty and bad. But then you see your own in-game parents fucking. There's even a battle where you have to, shrunk down, you climb up on their bed and have to dive out of the way of your own father's balls.
Oh, fuck me! Balls!
Whoever the, of course, anonymous group of tight-ass censors are, they're fucking retards, throwing around completely arbitrary bullshit in their idiotic fucking quest to keep grown adults safe from whatever it is these mealy-mouthed, uptight arseholes think is too shocking for grown-ups to see. Fuck you guys! Fuck you right in your fucking eye sockets! Anyway, go buy this fucking game, it is fucking awesome. Fucking fuck.
So what do you guys want to play now? How about Dinosaur Hunters?
Or pharaohs and mummies?
Let's ask Douchebag. What do you want to play next, dude? Screw you guys. I'm going home. Wow, what a dick.